data analytics solution we have with our strategic partner, Analogyx BI. They have created some standard packages that they will talk about in this presentation. And I am going to hand over to Ishmael and his team. You will be able to reach out to your current service provider for standard ERP or directly to Analogyx themselves to find out more about this after the presentation. I'd like to introduce Hari, who is the Chief Delivery Officer with Analogyx BI, and he will walk you through the agenda and topics for today. Once again, thanks for joining.
Area for a lot of users. Since data analytics is kind of new area for a lot of users, we thought we will cover why every decision in an organization must be driven by data analytics. Before moving into today's topic, focused on how to cut costs using data analytics, then we'll wrap up with why Analogyx BI is the right analytics solution for Hansaworld community, followed by a Q&A session. First of all, a little housekeeping note. Because of number of people on today's call, we will keep all microphones muted, but please feel free to submit your questions via chat as you think of them, and we will discuss them during the Q&A session. Let's dive in. What is Analogyx? Analogyx has a professionals with over 30 years of combined experience in data analytics and data mining. We have gained an international following working with multiple ERP systems, and now we are recognizing our value here with the Hansaworld community. We've been working with Hansaworld for over a year now. Hansaworld has been really helpful in building the connector with Hansaworld and Analogyx. Now we have a ready-to-go connector approved by Hansa, which can deliver analytics to you on day one. First of all, why do you need Analogyx BI? You will be able to answer this question as we progress in the presentation. Let's get started with what is data analytics. Let's look at data analytics in a simple language. Assume you have 3 doors and you have no idea what's behind each of them, and you can open only one door to find out the hidden treasure inside. So in this situation, you don't have a way to find out where is the treasure hidden. Now imagine there is a keyhole in each of these doors, and you can peek inside each room to be able to see what's inside of each room. Woohoo! Wouldn't you pick the correct door now? Of course you will. That's what data analytics does. It provides you that insights into areas we have always been guessing at. Instead of perception-based management, business got to be fact-based and data-driven. This will help business to be proactive, be competitive in today's landscape. What are the type of analytics? Now let's look at the 4 major type of data analytics. One is the descriptive. This sometimes referred to as operational reports. This mainly talks about what's happening in my business. This is like a rear view mirror in the car, which shows you what has passed. Similarly, descriptive analytics gives you insights into what has happened in the past. For example, what was my revenue last month? How much I paid to a supplier in the last 6 weeks? Next one is diagnostic. Why is it happening? This is usually helps you find the source of a problem. This is where most of your traditional reports or dashboards usually stop. This can only give you what happened and limit the view of why it happened. If you go little advanced, next thing we see is the diagnostic and descriptive. Diagnostic and descriptive, these two usually go hand in hand. Then there is predictive, which is a little advanced than the first two. This shows you what's likely to happen. This is where you first start getting an edge, apply modeling to your data to determine trends and probabilities. This allows you to start doing forecasting based on current events using codependent variables. Example, let's say you have a production floor and you can predict when a particular machine is going to break down by looking at the oil pressure tool condition of the particular machine. What is prescriptive analytics? What do I need to do to avoid certain problems? This uses machine learning algorithms to recognize and react to patterns in your data and overcome future challenges. Example, can I set up safety stock for my items? Am I purchasing more than what I need? As you see here, descriptive and diagnostic are more backward looking tools, while predictive and prescriptive move you into forward looking solutions. As you move from backward to forward looking, your value of data investments increase as you start getting more results from your efforts. What is data analytics? Data analytics is more than just reporting. It is a collection of data and comprehensive evolution of data from different sources such as your production equipment, various systems like ERP and customer management systems to provide company-wide forward-looking decision-making capabilities. Now, data combined with the analytics techniques is what is going to give you the right decisions. Now, example, if you have an ERP solution, you are already using Hansa. Probably you have some other third-party tools on some of most of your budget information, marketing data, and sales rep targets are in Excel sheets. So you will be able to make your data-driven decision only if you combine all this data into a single platform and derive analytics. Analogyx brings you the combination of data and analytics techniques, which will help you make your data-driven decisions. Now, Foster reports that data-driven companies grow more than 30% annually on an average. So if you are a data-driven company, there is definitely a chance for you to grow 30% on an average every year. Most of the small to medium businesses follow the perception-based management. There are what is perception-based? Traditional way. This is how we have always done it. My company existed for last 30 years. This is how I have been doing it. I know it works. Then some of the people think that, look at their experience and say, hey, when I was in that role, when I was working for that company, I was doing it this way. It was working out very well. Some of them assumptive analytics. Accounting will do if I do the report in certain way. For example, if you don't buy an analytics solution, accountant is going to be happy. Or if you give them some data that he needs, he's going to be happy. Then presumptive. We made money last year and we'll make it this year again. So you're basically looking at your past, you are saying, going with the gut feeling and saying you can make money this year again. And small picture, you're always sometimes the companies are looking at small picture where sales are up, so we must be doing well, but you don't know what are the hidden areas where you are actually losing the sales and not doing the supply chain management properly. Now, prescription based business questions. What are the questions? How do we optimize shipping cost? What is our cash flow? Where should marketing money be spent? Where should we buy from? Who will be the best customer next quarter? All these questions are valid questions that need forward-looking answers, and it should only be fact-based, which is a necessary in today's competitive business, and the answer is data analytics. Yes, it is data analytics. Now, why are businesses turning to data analytics? Ease of access is critical these days, and for a lot of other reasons, when companies realized they couldn't access their data remotely during quarantine periods. So, hopefully, these last few minutes gave you a better understanding of how analytics enables data driven decisions. Now, let's move into the true topic of today's session, data driven cost savings. These are often hidden costs that eat away your budgets. Assume you have to create a report for your CEO. You will have to gather the data, analyze the data, ask someone who understands the data what it means, then create the report in the format required by the CEO. By the time you finish all the tasks and have the report ready, the data is probably outdated. Or in the next week or next month, the CEO is going to need the report in a different format. That is where Analogyx will play a major role in giving you the reports right away in minutes, based on the requirement and the format you need. You can easily create a report, configure a report, schedule the report to go out and in an email within minutes. Usually if you have to do it, in a traditional way, this involves huge amount of hidden costs, both direct and indirect. Now, in this whole process, you do everything, you build whatever you need, and then if you want, still there will be a gap. And if you try to build the gap yourself, You can build the gap, but you'll end up spending thousands of dollars. And after you do all of this, you realize the bridge breaks when there are changes in your system. When you add certain columns in the ERP, you'll have to still go and upgrade your integration, do all the changes and so on. These costs accumulate when people are waiting for someone to pull the data together, or when doing multiple iterations due to incomplete or conflicting data. Now, put COVID on top of that. You know how old is operating today, and your IT staff is always engaged trying to solve the issues of users trying to get into VPN, trying to access something. Now, on top of that, if you put this analytics burden on the IT staff, that's going to waste a lot of money for the organization. Now, here is a perfect economic data analytics solution that will allow you to pull data from multiple systems, combine the data from across the systems, secure the data in the data warehouse, and lets you use the data as and when you require in the best presentable way, while you can access it from anywhere in the world. So what you can do with Analogyx is, if you have multiple systems, you have an ERP system, you have an attendance management system, you have your budgets and targets in your Excel sheet, you can pull in all of those in Analogyx and put all of that in, have all the data in the data warehouse, create the dashboards however you require. And with this, you do not have to provide direct access to the production database. So there is a data warehouse that users can access, where the admin user can control what users see, what they do not see. And so to help you wrap up your head around the setup and flow, Analogyx BI comes with a pre-built connector with Hansa for on-premise and cloud versions of all the types, all Hansa versions. Now, having said that, we have been working with Hansa to make sure that the connector we have is ready to go and will work immediately. So you can be up and running on day one. So what do you need to do? You just need to fill out the connectivity sheet and share the details with us. Analogyx will connect to your Hansa instance, refresh pre-built dashboards with your data, and provide you user logins, and you're all set. And we understand everybody will have their own user-defined fields. If you need to bring in any user-defined fields or new set of tables, just let us know. We'll be able to do that for you. Now, you don't need to spend countless hours to analyze your data. You don't need to worry about sharing the information via email, scanning, or sending it in a report to somebody. You don't need to pay a lot of money for integration. You don't need to run behind that one person who understands your company's data. There is always one person in the company who knows everything, and everybody is trying to put burden on him by asking all the questions. Is it really possible? Yes. Let me show you how. This is the Analogyx login screen. Everybody will be provided with the login and password. Once you log in with the details you are given, you'll see this home page, where first thing you see is the Analogyx logo, and then a search box here, and a menu on the left side. And based on our experience working with many customers and many ERP systems in the past, we have logically grouped the dashboards into business areas, what we call module, to make sure that users have the best representation and access to the data quickly. Now, if you see here, there is a module for executive, which has executive dashboard, and then there is a customer segmentation algorithm, sales forecast algorithm, inventory management. We have some dashboards in sales orders that talks about what are your sales orders, when are your peak business hours, how much orders you are receiving in peak business hours, and what products are sold in peak business hours. What are my sales invoices that I raised for the customer? What are the open invoices I am yet to receive the money for? What is the profit margin? What are my invoice receipts? Can I look at the data by each of the customers? Can I look at the data by each of my items? Then we have the account payable. What are the payments we have already done to the suppliers? What are the invoices suppliers has given us? Then what are the purchase orders we have raised over a period of time? What is my stock deficiency by each item? What is the stock depreciation? How much we are losing in terms of depreciation? What are the stock movements? How much stock I am moving from within the warehouse or between the warehouses? goods receipts, how much goods I have received from what supplier has shipped, and how much of inventory is sold. Then there are reports around general ledger where you can configure your categories and create profit and loss report, which is pre-configured. Then there is CRM data where you have the quotations and opportunities information here. Now, with that overview, I will navigate back to executive and open this dashboard. So what do I need to do if I have to open a dashboard in Analogyx? All you need to do is point your mouse on the dashboard that you'd like to open and click on it. It's going to open up in a new window. Now, the dashboard you see here is the summary of all your data in the entire organization. This has the data of receipts, AR receipts, how much you have received. You see the date filter over here. The date filter is set to show you data of last 5 years. Now, if I click on this, I have the option to select. I can see today's data, this week's data. This, if you see on the left side, it also gives you what is the date range that you are looking at when you select this month, this quarter, this year, and so on. Or you can go here and look at last 5 months, years, and so on. It's very easy. You don't need to do any programming. All you need to do is just select, and if you need data between specific dates, you can put in the dates here and click on OK. And so this data is the summary of all the modules in your company. Now there is receipt information, there is invoice information, there is total open AR, how much the customers have given me the orders for, what is the average value per order, average value per order per customer. Now, whatever you see here is something we have put together, to make sure that it gives the best value for the customers. Now, this can be easily configured. We can add more graphs, more tiles, and give you other information. So if you have an Excel sheet with some of your budget information, or if you have marketing data, you can upload that Excel sheet, create another graph, and add the graph probably at the bottom, or you can move these tiles around and easily configure whatever the way you like it. And we can also do that for you. Then what are the total customer returns? What are the total purchasing spend? How much money I have paid the supplier so far? How many customers I have served in last 5 years? 3181 customers. Then what is my current on-hand inventory value? How much cash I have in bank? Now let's look at an example. What if you would like to see the details of how did I arrive at 39.8 million total receipts? So at the bottom of this graph, you can also see the trend line, which gives you how the value has changed month over month. So in July 2018, you see 956K was the receipt. And in August, in September, it is 892K and so on. You also have a little trend line here. Now, okay, you cannot, let's assume you are not unable to see this, the small numbers here. We have an icon at the bottom of each graph that will let you maximize this to fit the full screen. So you can see the trend, the numbers, and so on. And once you are done doing your analysis, you can minimize this and go back to original dashboard screen. You can also edit a chart very easily. For example, if I click on edit this chart, let's say I don't want this to be a purple color. I'll go to visual properties here, then change my color. I want it to be, let's say, this color, yellow, or I will change it to something else. So I'll change it to this color and then click on save. And once you close this, this will go back to the original dashboard. And the changes you have to do are as simple as click, 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 you're done. You don't need to do any kind of programming because Analogyx already has a connector with Hansa. Now, invoice amount. What if I want to see details of invoice receipts, right? So let's look at this button here, navigate to details. This will give you all the details around how did I arrive at 39.8 million. When I click on this, it's going to open up a new dashboard that gives you 39.8 million is the total receipts, 39.8 million is the total receipts. We have selected a filter to show only last 5 years data. If you see the new dashboard that is opened up, that filter last 5 years is also carried forward, and the dashboard has already drilled down to show you only 5 years of data. Now you can look at what is the total deposited balance, total invoice amount, and total open invoice amount, and total received amount. Similarly, you can see a trend line here. that shows you monthly trend of how your sales were, how your receipts were. Now, what if you want to look at data of only one particular month? So all you need to do is point your mouse on where you would like to drill down on and click on it. Now, whatever you see data, now that is drilled down to show you only May 2019 data. Now you can see this and search also by payment code. You can look at how they have paid through the cash or Amex card, online transfer, and so on. Or you can see if you have a reference number, you can put in the reference number, select that reference number, and see the data of that particular reference number. Or you can also see which currency you are paid. Right now we're talking about only one currency here. And if you have the serial number, you can also put the serial number and see the data. Not only you can drill down and filter using the filters here, you can also look at the graphs here, which are showing you by default the top 10 deposited balance by reference number. Now you can also choose to see top 25, for example. Now, when you look at top 25, the lines are smaller, so you can maximize this, analyze your data. You can also click on Save as Excel. You see the three little dots on top of this graph here. You can click on this, click on Export to Excel, and that will save as an Excel sheet on your machine, which if I open, this gives you the data by each reference number here. You have the data ready to go in a single click. Going back to the dashboard, I will minimize this here. And let's look at the details tab. So most of the dashboards will have a summary and detail. Now, in the other tab, we have applied certain filters. We drill down on May, and we also drill down on one of other columns, last 5 years. So these filters, beside every graph, you see the little icons being highlighted. That will show you what are the values that are filtered. Now, if you do not want to see the filtered data, then you have a way to remove the filter. Either you can reset the whole dashboard. This will remove all the filters, or you can go back to the dashboard and say at the bottom of the graph, you have the erase button, reset button here. You click on the eraser, then it's going to reset and remove the filter that you have applied. I will go back to the details tab again by clicking on it. And I see how my trend was for the received amount based on the transaction date. Then, who are the top 10 customers that paid me? And this customer, Palm City, has paid me $3.7 million. So I want to see what invoices were the customer has paid the money for. So all I do is click on that customer name and go a little bit down and see invoice amount and received amount by invoice number. So you have invoiced 26.7K for this particular invoice, and customer has paid all of it. This is how you can look at all the details. Not only you can look at the details, but we also have all of this data that is graphically represented in this dashboard also available to you in the form of a table here. There is a summary table and there is a detail table, where in the detail table you can just click on Save as Excel, Export to Excel, just like the other dashboard we saved. We can download this to Excel, and all of the data is readily available for you if you'd like to share with anyone. Now, not only you can do this here, but also not only you can do it, download and send it in an email. You can also do that by scheduling automatic emails. What do I mean by automatic emails? Let's assume that you have 10 customers that you are going to deliver some orders for them this week. You either have to call them and inform them, hey customer, I'm going to be delivering the 10 orders for you in this week. Or you can ask them, hey, I'm expecting you to pay me the following 5 invoices in this week. So instead of calling them or emailing them individually, you can configure the automated emails in Analogyx that will send automatically, on every Monday. It can trigger an email that says, hey, I'm planning to deliver the following orders for you in this week. I'm expecting you to pay me for the following invoices this week. Or if you have a supplier, you can send an email to supplier. Hey supplier, I need to please make sure that you deliver these raw materials for these purchase orders in this week. And I will be paying you money for the following invoices or vouchers in this coming week, and so on. And let's say you're always looking at data of certain product categories or certain customers. Now, what you can do is you can drill down on, for example, if you're always looking at Palm City as your first customer, you can select and drill down, and you see on top of this dashboard, you have a save state button. When you click on save state, what it's going to do is it's going to save whatever filters you have applied and selected. And next time when you open the dashboards, these filters will be respected, and by default, you will see that this filter is already selected. Having said that, you still have an option to go back and unselect this filter and look at the remaining data also. With that, I'll go back to the executive dashboard again. Now you look at invoiced amount. Similarly, there is a navigate. We can look at the details by clicking on navigate to details and look at all your invoices, how my invoices were, what percentage was it, and so on. And if you'd like this not to be a bar chart, if you'd like this to be some other chart, for example, it's as easy as clicking on edit button here, which will open up in a new window, and you can choose the chart. Now you see we have more than 50 charts available for you to choose from. It can be a column chart, bar chart, line chart, it can be simple table, and so on. So whatever you like based on the type of the data, you are free to choose any of these graphs, and all of these graphs are available to you by default when you purchase Analogyx. Now let me change this to a table quickly. That's all I need to do. I don't want the graph. I want to see it as a table. So I save it and then I close it. It'll go back and refresh, and this will show as a table. Not only it will show this to you as a table, but it also shows you what is the proportion and contribution of each of these amounts when you compare it with the total amount, right? And you also anytime have the option to save it as Excel and so on. You can also see top 25. Okay, moving on to the next dashboard. What are my total AR? You can look at by clicking on navigate to details. You can look at the details here. Then customer orders, average value per order, and so on. And next thing that interests me very much is my cash in bank. How much is my cash in bank? Right now, I have $1 million. Is there any way I can figure out how much money I am going to have in my bank account 10 weeks from now? Right now, with the way every company operates, probably there is no way to figure that out. So we came up with something to solve that problem. If you click on to see the details, we have a cash flow projection dashboard. The cash in bank as of today is $1 million. And looking at your AR is the money that you are getting from the customers. AP is the money that you need to be paying to your suppliers. And the total is how much is cash in and how much is cash out. So calculating all of this, it gives you a projection of how much money you might have in your bank end of this week, end of next week, and so on. Now, if you see here, this is the simple thing we did in terms of cash flow, where we are only considering accounts receivable and accounts payable. Now, every organization will have the salaries to be paid every month or every 15 days. Then they have insurance costs. Then they have a lot of other miscellaneous costs, truck diesel. You can also need to pay for the storing in the warehouse and employee salaries and so on. All of it can be configured to give you more accurate cash projection in the future. Then going back to the executive dashboard here, let's look at on-hand inventory. Now I have so much on-hand quantity here. I want to see the details, so I will again navigate to the details. Having said that, when you are in executive dashboards, you will be able to navigate. At the same time, you can go back to the home page and look at individual modules. If it is inventory management, you can go back here and still select your individual dashboard here. I'll go back to inventory stock deficiency dashboard. This is showing you how much quantity you have on hand, how much is on order. These are the confirmed customer orders, how much is on purchase order, and what is the net inventory. And if you look at data for certain items, let's look at the top item. So the deficiency is 3.38K. So there is zero on-hand quantity. You have confirmed customer orders for more than 3,000 units. You have a purchase order of 63,000, and you have a deficiency of 3.38, which is the open customer order. Now, what if you had predicted this order in already a few days ahead? Right? You would have procured properly. You will have the right on-hand quantity, and you will be able to deliver this quantity to the customer at the right time to make sure that the customer is happy. I'm going to remove the filter by clicking on the graph here and see the total numbers. So this is showing you not only the deficiency, it will show you by item what is the on-hand quantity, and if you are setting minimum inventory level for each of the item, that is also shown here. Then the order code by item code, what is the deficiency, what is the on order, what is the on order by item, and then what is the purchase order, net inventory, and so on. Now you have seen all the graphical representation. You can also filter if you'd like to see data by certain item here or item code. And you also have the information available in the form of a table here, where all of this data you can download into an Excel sheet just by a click. And most of the dashboards we have here, we have added About tab. This talks about what is the definition, why is this used for, and what is the significance, and how we are calculating based on the registers in Hansa. So this information is already available here. And for example, in case of on-hand quantity, if you are not using in-stock field, if you are using some other field, you can let us know. That is some configuration change we can do really quick. And if you want to calculate net on-hand inventory, not by deducting on-hand quantity and on-order quantity, but you would also like to consider purchase order quantity, for example, you can just give us the new formula and we'll do the changes. Or with the training that we provide you, you will be able to do this in a matter of minutes. Going back to the executive dashboard. Now, let's look at the graphs below. Who are the top suppliers? So for somebody like a CEO or CFO who is looking at this graph, who are my top suppliers? Who are my top customers? What are my top 10 products and so on? So he wants to see more information about the customers here. All you can do is click on this, navigate to details, and it will take you to the next screen, which shows you all the details about the customers. Now, how much was the total revenue? Again, if you observe here, the last 5 years filter is also carried forward on how many customer orders we had in last 5 years, and the trend line at the bottom that shows you since last quarter there is a decline of 44.38%. This is probably because of COVID. And see the revenue by each customer. For example, the first customer is occupying 47%. Now, what if you want to see the data by excluding this top customer? You know this guy is the top guy. So let's remove this customer and look at the remaining ones. So you can just click on this customer name here in the label, and that will show you the percentages by remaining customers. You can also remove the second one and look at the remaining ones and so on. Then who is the highest ordered customer? Who gave us the number of orders, maximum number of orders? This customer gave us 74% of orders, this customer 12%, and so on. Similarly, by each customer, what is the revenue? Who is the highest revenue generating customer? Who is giving us more business? What are the highest ordered customer, or who ordered the most in the past? You can see all these details. You can also drill down and filter using the filters here. Again, this dashboard also has an About tab that tells you where this data is coming from in Hansa. Okay, now let's look at the remaining dashboards also. So I'll go back to the home page here, and we were talking about we went through executive dashboard, and so far we have navigated to different dashboards. From executive dashboard, we saw how the filters were carried forward, how we can drill down and see data by a particular customer, particular month, and so on. We also saw how we can remove the filters, how we can save the state of a dashboard. So my filters are always saved, and when I come back next time, the filters are already selected. Now, what if see, some of the questions we saw are, I'm already making more sales than last year. I made more money than last year. But is there any deep analysis that Analogyx can provide me, where you can see which customer is performing how? So let's say this is our advanced algorithm that categorizes your customers into high value customers, mid value customers, and low value customers. How do you categorize a customer? Based on 3 factors: how much revenue they are giving us, how frequently they are purchasing from us, and how recently they have purchased. So one is how much, how recently, how frequently. Now, taking all these factors into consideration, we run the algorithm and look at our high value, mid value, and low value customers. If we take an example of this customer, the, the customer has brought 140 times. The revenue is 5.49 million from this customer. And when we give the score for revenue, frequency, and recency, how recently he bought. So on a scale of 4, if we give this on a scale of 4, if we give the score for this customer, uh, based on the score, this is categorized. And if you look at these green ones are your high value customers, and mid value customers are in yellow, and low value customers are in red. Let's look at mid and low value customers by unselecting this high value customer here. So mid and low value customers are here, and you can look at which customer is at what range and how frequently they bought and so on. Then this is the combination of revenue and frequency calculation. Then you can also look at the revenue and recency, how recently they bought, how much money they gave. This data is probably little older data, as this is our demo system. But if you see this customer hasn't bought anything in last 26 days, and the revenue he generated in the past is 5 million. Now there is a problem I see here. This customer has given us a lot of revenue, but he hasn't done anything in last 26 days. So can I send a sales rep to talk to these guys and figure out what is happening, if we did something wrong, or if we did not deliver their order on time? So these are the things you can easily figure out by looking at these customers. Now, green customers are always loyal to you. They are bringing you more business. Now, what happens to my yellow and red customers, mid value and low value customers? Is there a way that I can push the yellow customers into green zone, the red customers into yellow zone? This is the way that we need to improve our business, and you can generate more revenue by giving attention to some of these customers who are really valuable. Then you also can look at the frequency, the segment by frequency and recency. So same customer is being categorized multiple times here. Once based on the revenue and frequency, then based on the revenue and recency, then based on frequency and recency, and so on. Now, by each category, here are the top 10 customers for you. And if you see the revenue categorization, most of your customers have ordered between $0 and $100,000, and very less number of our customers have ordered more than 1 million. So this categorization also shows you what is the range of how your customers are ordering. So this really helps. When you look at your data, your customers, you will realize what we are talking about. And it will be, you can save a lot of money, you can increase your revenue, make more profits, and generate revenue for the company. Then I'm going to go to the sales forecast dashboard, where, okay, in the inventory management dashboard, let's go to the inventory management first and then sales dashboard. Now, this inventory management dashboard, can you tell me, if you have to look at your inventory 10 weeks ago, how much was my inventory 10 weeks ago? There is no way that anybody can answer that question. So what Analogyx does is it keeps the snapshots of your inventory at the end of every week, every month, and so on. Not only it keeps the snapshots, but you have the dashboard also built ready on top of it. So what does it show is the inventory information for the last 10 weeks by each product, what is the on-hand quantity, and what was the inventory value, and so on. Now, let's take an example of this particular item here. This particular item, the average replenishment days. So we look at your purchase order and purchase order receipts data and figure out how much time this is taking for me from the time I place an order to a supplier till the time the supplier delivers me the order. It is taking 30 days for the supplier to deliver. Now, what if I have an order and I am not able to fulfill because I do not have the inventory? So you look at safety stock. What is the suggested safety stock based on the historical data? For this item, if you have 33,000 units of safety stock, then you will be able to satisfy most of your customer orders. And if you need to purchase and you need to reduce all your inventory handling cost around the transportation, storage, insurance, and so on, this is the economic order quantity. So if you buy in multiples of 23,594, let's take it as 23,000. If you buy in multiples of 23,000, you are going to reduce your cost to the minimum. Not only reduce the cost, but you will also be able to fulfill those orders for the particular customer on time. Now, How do you know how much you have to procure 10 weeks ahead, right? This 30 days is almost more than 4 weeks. How do you know what you have to procure in more than 4 weeks ahead? That is where sales forecast comes into place, where the sales forecast can project what your sales are going to be by looking at the historical data. You have the actual sales information here with the trend line, and what is the total sales for this year so far, and what are the projected sales for this year based on Analogyx and algorithm. Now, you can see in this particular graph where the data is shown at a monthly level. Up till our current week, the data is all the actual data. And using the actual data, we are predicting here what is going to be your sales in the future. And based on this, going back to the inventory management dashboard, you can identify what are the items with highest replenishment times or with the highest economic order quantity. What are the inventory turns? Which item I need to make sure that I need to procure less, more, less, and so on. Determine all of this, calculate your inventory, reduce more than half of your inventory investment, and increase the cash flow for your business. Then, not only that, look at this forecast by each item. You can look at it by each item, each sales category, whatever level you would like to forecast, we can configure that for you. Again, that data is also available for you as a part of the table here. This shows you what is actual sales and how much we have predicted the upper limit and the lower limit. So we predicted between 1.53 to 2.93, and the actual sale was 1.94. Then going back to the home page here. So that's a summary of what you can achieve in a nutshell. Anything you like, you don't need to be a programmer. Very easily, you can build other dashboards. With that, I'm going to go back to the presentation. Okay, there we go. Now, what we have seen so far, that we have seen how you can cut a lot of costs out of the report creation, delivery process, and drives cost out of your operations. We have seen how you can improvise your cash flow, reduce money being invested on the inventory, increase customer satisfaction by delivering your customer orders on time, increase your revenue by making sure you retain your medium and less value customers by timely follow up, by automatically sharing the information with the customers and suppliers, and many other benefits. Last but the most important thing is you have access to all your data when you need it from anywhere, from any mobile device. So how do we differ from other analytics solutions in the market? So I have shown you how analytics can really reduce the cost in the topics that I covered you today. So what we have to offer is we are a single platform. If you have an ERP system, if you have a third-party system, all of it you can combine in this and create reports, configure them once, and they'll be there forever. It is self-service platform. It's completely self-service platform. You do not need any programmers to write any type of code. You can easily create the dashboards just by dragging and dropping the objects. We offer data warehouse. The solution comes with the data warehouse, which is an already built connector, like I said, with Hansa. Then we have the pre-built KPIs. There are a set of dashboards that I have shown you, which are already ready to go to be deployed on day one, which covers all your business areas. And can you afford it? Yes, it is very much affordable. You do not need to purchase any third-party licenses. You do not need to spend money on refreshing data daily. You do not need to pay additional money to send automated emails to suppliers and your customers and some of the internal team members. You do not also need to pay additional money for maintenance. Now, having said all of this, you might be wondering if my data is secure. Yes, it is 100% secure. Data is encrypted before it is moved to Analogyx cloud. We are hosted on AWS, so it is completely secure. You can monitor data in real time, view all the applications connected to Analogyx BI in a single screen, set up access with personalized data permissions at the user level, monitor user login attempts, how many times the user is logging in, what activity he is doing, what data he is accessing, and so on. Not only that, the admin user will be able to control which user sees what data. You can also control it at the table level. You can control it at a row level. You name it. If you have multiple companies, one person can see one company data, another person can see only second company data. Or if you do not want somebody to see finance data, you can easily restrict that. Then what is the licensing? Now is the amazing part, right? So analytics doesn't have to be so expensive. We can have you up and running in a day with no hidden costs. Based on the cost cutting ideas we showed you today, you will actually end up saving a lot of money if you start making decisions based on data using Analogyx. Now, we have three different packages to start with. One is a starter, that is $99.99 a month. That gives you 5 users, one admin, one power user, and 3 viewers. You can have self-service. You can create up to 5 dashboards of your own along with the pre-built set you're going to get, and you can store up to 2 GB data. And if you have a lot of data, we'll not charge you a lot of money. We'll charge you bare minimum. And you can also schedule up to emails up to 5 users. You can download the data to Excel and so on. And you will also get 2 hours of training. And if you need any customizations, you can always reach out to us and we'll let you know how we can achieve that. Then there is a standard package. It's going to cost you $149.99, and with the $1,000 initial setup cost, this will give you 10 users, one admin, 2 power users, and 8 viewers. You can store up to 10 GB of data. You can refresh data twice a day, and in the base package, you can refresh once a day. And you can also get the access to pre-built set of reports, and you can build 10 additional dashboards, or we can build them for you, and all others. And along with this, you are going to get 4 hours of training and 4 hours of professional services if you need any customizations. Then we have the enterprise package, that is $299.99 a month with $2,000 in initial setup cost for 20 users, 2 admins, 5 power users, and 12 viewers. You can store up to 50 GB. There is no limit on how many dashboards you can build. You can also refresh the data in real time. Along with this package, you'll get 10 hours of training and also 10 hours of professional services. Now, you might be wondering, you have 100 users that you would like to purchase for. Definitely, we can work with you for any number of users, any type of package you are looking at. You can reach out to us. You can put in your email ID in the Q&A session, or you can write a question or directly reach out to us, and one of our sales representative will get back to you and work with you to give you the best suited package for your company. Then what's included in each of these? So there is the business module that I showed you and the list of dashboards we talked about. If you purchase the starter package, then you can get all these dashboards. If you purchase the standard set, you get these dashboards. If you purchase the enterprise, you will have access to all these dashboards along. Advanced analytics are always on ad hoc basis because they really need to be configured for a particular organizational use. So we will work with you to configure those for you. Now, seeing all of this, after you see all of this, you probably would still not be believing what I am saying is true or not true. So, what do we offer? We offer you a free trial. Just let us know if you'd like to have a free trial. Reach out to us. Then we'll set up 2 users for you. You can play around with the system. You can create new dashboards and see how easy is it to create and navigate around the dashboards and the whole platform. And along with this, you will also get the predefined KPIs in 2 Hansa modules, and we'll also train you for 2 hours if you require. And the best part is there is no maintenance. Even if you purchase the license later on, there is no maintenance, there is no support cost involved right now. So with that, I will open up the session for Q&A. So we have the first question here that says, what is the price of the product? We already talked about it. We have 3 different packages. If you need any further details on top of what you have already seen, please reach out to us. We will be able to help you. And if required, we can also set up a specified demo to customize the dashboards for you. What connection do you use between Hansaworld and BI? It is REST API. We connect directly to the API and pull all your data. And the best thing is you do not need to purchase any additional licenses with respect to any database or third-party system. We directly connect and give it to you. All you need to do is fill up the form that we give, where you will give us the information to connect to the REST API, and the data will be loaded. When is the on-premise Analogyx going to be available? It is already available. It is already available for both on-premise and cloud. So please feel free to reach out. We'll reach out to you to give you more details around that. Next question is, do you have consideration of companies for nominal ledger and items? Yes, we do. We do have that. And you can always, we will reach out to you to give you more details around that. And next question I see is, what is the price of the product? I think we have already answered that. Please feel free to ask more questions. Yes, we will send out the details on pricing on an email for sure. Thank you, Kasim, for the question. Can the data be represented on map geospatial? Yes, it does. It is. If you see my first slide, probably I have not shown you the graph. So for every country or the world map itself, we can represent the data as long as the data is captured at a country or a state or a city level. Yes, we can capture it on a geograph for sure. Yes, we are going to share the details after the presentation. Our sales team will reach out to you personally to get your insights and feedback from you. Yes. We have a few more minutes that we can use for Q&A. Is an on-premise deployment? Yes, we can deploy it on-premise as well as cloud. I see another question here. How easy or hard is it to modify dashboards? As I have shown you, just by clicking on the graph, you'll be able to modify the type of the graph, what data you would like to see in the graph, and if you have 10 graphs in the dashboard, you are free to change all the graphs to best suit your business. All you need to do is just click, select the options available, set your color, what you want to see. You want to see it as a line chart, bar chart, pie chart, and so on. Select from the already available 50 charts, and you can create it in less than minutes. And we'll make sure that in the training that we provide you, we will give you all the information, documentation that will help you create the dashboards in minutes. Which database engine are you using? We are hosted on AWS. I think we are on PostgreSQL probably. And another data, depending on size of your data, we choose what is available and what is best for you. Runs on MySQL database or Linux. So yes, it can connect to any system. It can be MySQL, it can be Oracle, it can be Postgres or any other database. We can easily connect and pull the data out of. Yes, is on-premise available for Linux? Yes. Okay, we have a few more minutes that we can use for Q&A here. So with that, I hope you guys like the presentation. And we have worked with many customers and ERPs in the past. Now we are realizing the value here at Hansa, and I'm sure all of you have liked the presentation. Feel free to reach out to us if you need anything, and we'll set you up with the demo login if you require that. And thank you again for joining today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.